Hello, traders. It's E from MarketWizards.com and Eminiwizard.com. Reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose when you're playing this game. All right, let's switch gears and take a look at a crypto. Bumped into a good friend of mine this morning on our walk. We had talked about some crypto, and I put my charts on and took a look, updated a few things, and thought we'd talk a little bit about my system and how I can continue to educate myself and find things that work in alternative investments and not just the E-mini S&P. So taking a look at a couple of days worth of trading, trying to understand where support and where prices were bought and how far we've gone in a few days and perhaps time to take a rest. I noticed a few traders talking ETH the other day and talked about the breakouts they were looking at. And so I try to compare my work with theirs and see what makes sense. So for me, obviously in a 2 or 3 day range, you're going to look for support to hold from known support already. And then obviously if there's a high that's put in, can we crack that high or are we pulling back in a regression trade? And typically I will be looking for support in these areas step by step. Got to come back here first. If you break that, then you're looking at the next level and then obviously the next support, which has been taken out, but could be a shakeout here. And so we're going to look at this area right here from the bottom two boxes as support that needs to hold for at least a sideways trade to build up some type of a base. And if I want to look at that at a weekly basis, and I can come over here and I can take a look at my weekly charts, and I'm using 7 days, obviously, because it's 24/7, and looking for ideas that would also substantiate that idea. And so on a weekly basis, I can already see that this is a level that we'll try to hold, and if not, then the next available low will become next step down back in here. So that's on a weekly, and some traders look at this as a buy and hold forever. Some traders are saying, "Hey, I just want a swing trade." Others are day traders. So it depends on how you're using this vehicle. I did take a look at a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders down here, and we've held, we popped, we have taken out this high, and we've done a phase transition already on this trade, and so I think we need a little sideways action. And this is a tough place to be chasing right here. But I think we need a little more basing before this takes off again. You want to look at a daily chart. We can look at a daily chart and we can see just how far we have come already. So this top box is obviously going to be an important look for me. And this high that was taken out, obviously you want to see that. If that's retested, want to see just below that hold. Ahead of ourselves on this chart, obviously. So the first things first, we need a little bit more time, perhaps, unless a faster time frame is in play. But currently, fear of missing out is causing a lot of traders to chase this right now, and you can see already just how stretched we are. And here's a monthly chart. So we want to take a look at this and keep this in mind. Obviously on a 456, and we're coming back, retesting that high. The breakout is going to be back here as a confirmation, but true breakout is probably right here at this 1866. This in this chart, anyways. This is third time through trade. 1, 2, 3, third time through. Ignores that high completely, and we'll take that out and run to a new high. And then on the retest, these targets can get retested when the market's ready to do that. So on a monthly basis, obviously we're on a breakout, all new high. So who knows how far that runs? Nobody knows until hindsight, but at least we can track the progress and say, is this are we chasing? Are we just using a momentum trade? Are we looking for a value trade? And I like to put a little that head and shoulders that we talked about. You can really see that right here, inverted head and shoulders. And this low right here, I think, is the whole key going forward. That's a pretty big milestone in our work to hold this low. So for now, that March 24, 25th in here, significant low. As long as that's intact, market is still trying to go higher. Take a look at a larger time frame, pretty much a yearly right now. Looking at the work that I use, try to understand where support might come in. Obviously, the rain line holding, little dip below it here, but regains its posture, comes back, and it's holding the rain line and off to the races again. And here's that little breakout right in here that it took off this last week. And remember seeing a video Anthony Crudelli put out. He had a great trade he put on and walked us through it. And my work kind of confirming what he was looking at. A little bit ahead of ourselves here. If we want to switch over to a different time frame, which I like to do, got a 60-minute on and looking at the 60, and we can see how that inverted head and shoulders on this shows up. We come over the blue line, but we really double right back in here in that 1750 support zone. And then we regain the posture and up, and now we got a little bit of profit taking coming in, it would appear, just ahead of ourselves when we look at the bigger frame. Not to say it's still not a great trade, but for now, obviously some profit taking coming in. And I've got last year's range here, and this is the breakout. And I'm looking at what I believe are key support ideas in this market. And you can see how this top box is really right now where this is being traded. Um, as long as we can hold up here in that 1900 area, then we still might make one more assault up into that 2185, 2200 range. But for now, I think that's resistance. Take a look, and we can see that as we've gone ahead, the volume has fallen off a bit. So those who are chasing this one compared to what it was a year ago, 6 months ago, even, certainly gotten frothy. Not to say it won't keep running, but probably ready for some backing and filling as well. And here's a model that I use to try to understand the rhythm of the market. And this would be my next resistance zone right in here, typically in using the Eminiwizard System. And I'm going to look for areas like this right here as a key support, right here as a key support, right here is a key support. And they won't be exact, but they will be in neighborhoods that we know should be defined and already can see back here. So if you're looking for cryptos or something, even a stock, whatever, using this model, you look for something that's had a high, that's based for a while, and then it starts to regain its posture, and then you don't know whether it's going to come back and retest failure or take it out. But if it takes out that high, and typically it's going to ignore that, and on the pullback, that's a rebuy, take it back up again. So that's the way I like to look at the charts. And when I put a model on, I also like to look at what I call the tunnel through time. And when I have these accurately set, and it's nothing more than trial and error to see what has worked and what is the model showing, then I can quote curve fit this and get this to show me, okay, what currently suggests where support might be and where resistance might be, what neighborhoods. And you can see this almost acts like a Keltner on the way up. Then we get the sharp pullback and a little double bottom undercut low, but we hold this whole base in here, and we can see this 1300 is holding, and off we go to re-challenge the high, come back and we sit, but we can't take out these lows, and then we get the second assault, which basically takes out this middle high, and you can see the W. Most traders look for these W's, and so we can see one forming now, and we may get a double W, which is pulling back, and then another one for another assault. I just think it needs a little time based on this chart, before we make another new high. So these are things that I look at. Let's take a look at one more chart. And this is just tracking, obviously, where we have been, and you can see the acceleration that really came in after the election back here. And this is one way to do a study on the market, is just do it, some common sense, and we can see that we're making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This holds in here, and we're off to the races back here. And then we again chasing the market, we come back, still pull back, and we're holding what I believe is these important lows right in here. You can see that at that 1300, and we get a quiet month, inside month, and then we've taken off. And then obviously right now we need a little bit of backing and filling, but how far back, no one knows. All we know is that compared to where we were at the election time, we've come a long way. So at some point we get a shakeout, and then that perhaps is a place to add, um, to your portfolio, or to get in the first time if you have not played this game yet. But by studying this and seeing these patterns over and over, we can apply them to whatever it is we're looking to study. This is E from MarketWizard.com and Eminiwizard.com. Wishing everybody who celebrates Easter wonderful, happy Easter, and hope you enjoyed a couple of minutes spending time with the way I look at markets. Be well, everybody.